a seat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Glass Table. We're here to review round one and talk about all good things Glass Table. But firstly, I'll introduce my co-host, the wonderful, the Saint, JT. How are you, mate?
I've never been better. We'll get into why later, but I think you can already tell by what's happening here. It is a fucking ripper of a day.
Oh no, he's dropped it already. He's that excited. We are recording this the Sunday night straight after the first round, and the emotions are fresh.
I've literally just gotten off the train.
He's gotten off the train. The phone is charged, and I'll tell you what, you can't wait to get this done so you can watch the highlights over and over and over again. I know the feeling. Trust me. After the pub yesterday and I was 16 beers deep, I was watching the highlights at kick on.
I just can't wait. I already know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to get off this call and then I'm going to go out there and I'm going to watch it again.
Oh, that's exceptional. Well, round one did occur. We've had our moments. Oh, before we go back to Thursday night, which was feels like a lifetime ago now, I will say that for us to get 2 dubs is astronomically good.
That is like, I was not expecting that for Glass Table. I was like, it's gonna always be like progression on one end. And we're never gonna have like a week where it was gonna be both of us. But here we are. First week in, and we have both teams winning. So massive.
Mate, I can't help but just realise the fact that maybe the Glass Table will bring us an undefeated season.
We're going the way. It's tracks. it's how it is. So
yeah, we'll get to the grand final. We've got to play each other, and it'll still be both winning.
Constant draws, draw after draw after draw.
Oh no, that's PTSD for you.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. Don't want to go near that. I'll get into the Thursday night soon, but like I hate draws so much.
You get PTSD from a draw.
Bad.
Mate, I think the last Port draw we had was 2012. We played Richmond.
I know the last draw you had.
What was it?
Shuey.
Well, thank you very much for watching this week's episode of the Glass Table. It's been an absolute pleasure. Round one was a beauty, and I've been looking for a new co-host next week. You're a prick. I prefer when you're losing. You're a lot better when you lose. I don't like that.
Well, I'm right. It was a draw at full time.
I don't like that at all. Oh, so Cairns was pretty good last year. Robbie Gray was pretty good.
No, I'm not letting you bring me down. I'm on a high. I'm on a high at the moment. I'm not letting you bring me down.
No, that's fine. Fair play. Very, very good. Let's get straight into it. Round one.
Yes.
Thursday night. Richmond versus Carlton. You were there. It was a goddamn draw.
What are the chances of that?
What? 58 apiece. I'm pretty sure it was like the first time ever that scores actually happened.
Yep, Scorigami.
Yeah, that's the one. I couldn't say it. That's why I went in the other direction.
Yeah.
Scorigami. 58 apiece. What was the like there for you?
So, it was my first Richmond Carlton. Attended it in person, and it was amazing. It was exactly sort of what I was expecting. The atmosphere was crazy. Atmosphere was crazy, and then when the game started being relatively shit, people started to kind of turn on a little bit. People kind of went like, "This is a bad game." Like coming into like the second quarter, first quarter, everyone was so excited, like Dusty straight out the gate, and then Fisher the next one. Everyone was really, really pumped, and then it just died. Like the atmosphere was still good, but like people were like, "This is not a good game," and like everyone around me is like, "Fuck, we're playing shit." So it's kind of died, but then it picked up obviously in that last quarter when it started getting tough, and yeah, crazy ending, crazy ending.
I was mad for multiple reasons. One, because the tip. Two, because of a multi that was failing miserably. And when I say miserably, that thing was failing. Like it was almost to the point that Tab nearly gave me my cash back just for sympathy. But I think you said it early on. Um, we were on for a 200-point game apiece.
They kicked 2 goals in the first minute, and it was like, we're on it.
Literally,
Game's gonna be good.
I couldn't believe it. And then, it died. It needed a bloody, I don't know. It's like the game had cardiac arrest. It was that bad.
It was really
Just
bad.
it gave a cause for concern. You know that argument? It's like Richmond, Carlton are really going to open this round again.
Yes. I literally right before we came onto this, I read like a tweet saying, actually, it's not. I read it because it's part of what's going to come later. We'll get to it later as well. But I'll sprinkle it in now. There was a tweet where it was like Richmond and Carlton shouldn't open the season anymore. I actually disagree. I think it's a good tradition. And we saw last year what happens when you put the two grand finalists first. Although yes, it was a Wednesday, and yes, it's Melbourne Bulldogs. It just didn't have the same feeling. So I think it should stay. But it's also that game is the perfect example of not every close game is a good game. People just people see a close scoreline like a 1 point or a draw or a 2 point win and immediately think the game was a cracker. That was the perfect example of bad game, good ending. Like that's all it is. It was an actual bad game, but it had a good ending.
I don't even think it was a good ending. It was a draw. It was like we all left.
No, but like
we left
you know what I
watching
mean,
it.
like the Tom Lynch mark, and like it was like a good way
Oh
to
yeah,
end it. It was a good way to end it, but like it's the classic example of not every close game is a good game.
that's why I bring up Cairns. Just almost a
It's the
godforsaken
worst
awful
close
game of
game
football.
of all time.
I don't think I've celebrated a point more just to see a point on the board.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that was
disgusting.
me. But you said Tom Lynch. That is as clutch as it comes.
Oh yeah, that's a huge mark. I mean, you could kind of see it. It was telegraphed. Like you could see it coming. I remember like sitting in the stands, and when I think Baker takes it out of the back line, I'm like, this is going to end in a Tom Lynch mark. Like I leant over and I said it to Shez and I said it to Shush. I was like, this is ending in a Tom Lynch mark. Sure enough, ball gets pumped in there. Who else but Tom Lynch just steps up, kicks it through. And then it was always going to be good. We score from there.
it was he was the best forward on the ground. I thought even like if Mackay and Kerno could kick straight, then probably Carlton win that game, obviously. But for him to pick his moments and deliver, best forward of
Yeah,
the
I
night.
think Lynch was the best forward. Carly was really poor in the first half, like really, really poor, and then picked it up in the third. But again, he couldn't really take a mark. He was all of his goals were coming off sort of ground level and like doing sort of rovers work. And then where Harry was kind of the opposite. He started okay, took a lot of good marks, but he couldn't convert like at all during the game. So he was like taking all the marks and sort of being the link up to Charlie, but Charlie couldn't get it done. And then when Charlie was getting it done, Harry couldn't, and it was just a mess. It was a mess.
Where was my small forward, Matt Owies? What was he
Kicked the
doing?
goal. He kicked the goal.
I'm so proud of him. I told you, a small forward is going to win this Coleman medal. If it's not Todd Marshall, it's a small forward. Um,
Oh.
so in the end, it was a draw. Obviously, Carlton, Richmond. Any final thoughts on that? Because honestly, took away nothing for both teams. They're still going to be up there. I still think they're going to fight it out throughout the year.
Yeah, I would not be happy if I was either team. Like I don't think you can leave. I don't think you can leave that game being like we tried our hearts out. I think Richmond deserved to win because I think they were better over a longer period. Carlton had a real good sort of third quarter. Like I think it was like end third quarter or start of third quarter. They were pretty good. But like over the longer period, Richmond were better and they just couldn't convert. And I reckon they should have run over Carlton, but they didn't. So I don't think either team will be happy coming out of that. I don't think they should. There was some really poor performances out there. I think not to shit on my old one of the old Saints players, but Blake Acres, my word, he was poor. Really poor.
Oh, he was shocking. Like if you were a fantasy owner or Supercoach owner and you had
I
Blake Acres, you're throwing remotes.
I hate to say it because I like Blake Acres and I think he's good for Carlton. And I've said it so many times that he's so good for Carlton, but he was really bad. He was so bad.
Oh, that's very good gear, actually. I like that. Um, I love the fact that Carlton supporters in general just had the full meltdown, like they lost. Like it
I
was
actually,
beautiful to watch in a sense that I can't believe they they were pumped up so much more than they thought, I reckon.
yeah, I actually like the fact though that the fans are treating it like a loss because that
Yeah.
is what it felt like. Like it felt like it was a loss, and I think Carlton fans should kind of come out of that. They shouldn't come out of everything negative because there's obviously good things here and there, but they should come out of that more negative than positive. So it's understandable. I get where they're coming from.
I don't mean to say that it's good to see the negative. I just mean,
You
it's
already
it's
you already
kind of
got the Carlton
ironic.
fans offside. You got the Carlton fans
Yeah,
offside.
well, I might as well just keep digging this hole, to be honest, 'cause honestly, the way I'm going. But yeah, so Carlton, Richmond next week. We'll get into the tips later, but two massive games. I think the Tigers have Adelaide and Adelaide, which I'll get to Adelaide in a minute. And also, yeah, Carlton, big Thursday night against the Cats, which I'll be at. So interesting times, but we'll get
I
to the
think I'll
tips later.
also do that.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Bar. Friday night, Geelong, Collingwood. Probably, I'd argue, probably one of the best games of the round. It was a good Friday night game, and the Pies got it done, unfortunately.
I would say it's the best game of the round. Had the pleasure of being there again, 2 nights in a row. That game, that game is the example of a really good game of football. Like that was a really, really good game of football. Atmosphere was pumping again. Collingwood fans, as much as they get run for being one-eyed and just for being mental at times, Collingwood chant is like spine tingling every time it happens.
Yeah.
And so like when they started running away with it in the last quarter, when you hear that Collingwood chant, it is like it gives me PTSD for one because they did it in 2010, but like it's like unbelievable to listen to and a
Oh.
very good game. Very, very good game.
Did Ollie Henry give you PTSD running at the open goal?
Oh man. First off, when he kicked the first goal and then did the hands to the ears, I was like, that is incredible. Great work, Ollie Henry. I don't actually like him. I don't think he's that good. But
No.
I was like, that's really, really good. And then when he got tackled by Darcy Moore, first off, all I could think just in my head was it was ringing behind him like a librarian. Like it was just like going through my skull. But it was unbelievable. Like so good. And everything works perfectly. It's Ollie Henry for one. It's the captain that tackles him, and it's in front of the Collingwood cheer squad. It is like it couldn't have been better. Could not have been better.
Well, the serotonin Darcy Moore would have gotten. Kieran Knightley. It's almost like doing a live act in front of the crowd. He did it beautifully. He led exceptionally well. Probably, I didn't think he was going to be a great choice as captain, but I should have known because defenders being selected as skippers are just second to none. So I thought he was exceptional. Down the other end, Tom Stewart, knee injury, probably hurt Geelong, but at the same time, I think Collingwood they're setting an example of the competition.
I hate that Collingwood are going to be good again. I had a thought before the season that like maybe Collingwood won't be that good. Maybe they'll be like fighting for an 8 spot. But like looking at that game, I'm like, fuck, they're going to be good. It's gonna really hurt. They're actually going to be good this year. Even though they also had a massive injury, Jeremy Howe, which is really, really, really good. That was shocking. That sucked the life out of the stadium.
I'm not surprised.
For like 15 minutes afterwards, the eeriest like feeling ever. Because like everyone saw it. It was just mental. It was right in front of us. Yuck. The thing that happened with them.
Motion?
No, we didn't get any replays.
Oh.
No replays. I've seen it now, but like, oh boy.
Yeah. Well, not good. Not good.
No.
My
I've seen it
eyes
now,
had
but
a
at the
feast
time.
on that, and I thought this went at right angles, but not the Monfries one.
No, not the good right angles. It was bad.
One.
But to Collingwood's credit, they actually improved off the back of it. They like basically took it and went, we're gonna win it for him now, basically. And they from that point on, like that was in the third quarter. They kicked, I think, like 8 of the next 9 or 8 of the next 10 or whatever it is. Like they then went because they kicked the last 6 unanswered. So they went like Power went out and they got better, which is crazy and a very good sign of what's to come, I think, for Collingwood.
Unfortunately. Although they will lose next week. So it's fine. I did at one stage, and it was really funny because I got a great reaction from it. I tweeted out that it's interesting to see Port Adelaide beating Geelong on Friday night footy at the G. So
Prison bars.
prison bars. Oh, by the way, Pies fans, did you know they're back? Oh, hook, line, and sinker. I'm not making it out alive next week. This is the last episode.
Bad place. Oh, that's funny.
Yes. But yeah, as I said, the Cats have Carlton next week. The Pies look very good and have got Port Adelaide. So, as I said, we'll get to the tips later. But they've set themselves up, Collingwood, very nicely for a good start to the year. The next game was Saturday Arvo. And you went to this one.
Again, three.
Little media boy. Little backpack walking in. Hello,
backpack
everybody.
Backpack wanker.
Yeah. And you watched North Melbourne complete, well, to my surprise, a very good victory.
Yeah, this is another example of close game, but not necessarily a good game. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It started really bad. It was like comedy of errors in the first quarter. And then the second quarter from North Melbourne is one of the most electric quarters I've seen from North Melbourne in a long time, like in years, because like they just turned it on. And rightly so, Sheezel's going to get a lot of the articles about him this week. Like there's going to be a lot about Sheezel and how good he was, because he was amazing. But Luke Davies-Uniacke, if he doesn't do what he does in the second quarter, North Melbourne don't win this game. He was ridiculous. Like, just the ability to just be so strong around the hips. He was trying to get tackled. He was just shaking people off. He was doing pirouettes because he could. Like, he's unbelievable. He's going to be a superstar this year.
Yeah. Look, he's one of the good kids, I think, and he's probably the one that stood out. And I'm glad. And I think as well, the way he came out, probably a good opposition to start off with. West Coast, they're probably in similar territory. They've come out. They've still got a few young kids. I think he was really impressive and probably more impressive than he should have been.
Yes.
But the way he went about things is quite scary. Like I'm very Sheezel about him.
He's setting examples. These guys, those two are going to be really, really good. And then we haven't even spoken about the guy that kicked six, because Nick Larkey. Nick Larkey, right? He's either the best worst forward of all time or he's the worst forward because he will kick no goals for weeks on end and then he'll kick six. He either kicks six or he kicks none. I reckon he did it last year as well. He either kicked so many or none.
He kicked it.
He did it against Sydney. He did it against Sydney.
Yes, and it was at Marvel as well. So he only does it at Marvel.
I don't know. Whatever game it was, he'll either kick six or kick none. So he was really good as well. But yeah, crazy. It was fine. Better than I thought it was going to be. West Coast, pretty bad. Like the scoreline probably flatters them because they kind of pulled it back in the last quarter, but they're not very good. They looked uninterested for at least for like 2.5 quarters of that game. So bad. That's
wild. You did tweet that out too, and I generally pissed myself laughing at it. West Coast are actually awful. They are generally bad. And look, good on them. Especially Jeremy McGovern. I don't know if you know this. I've got a vendetta against that little muppet. The slob train.
Little guy's huge.
Well, Look, I'm not going to go into shaming anything, but yeah. Anyway, well deserved for the Eagles. I'm going to start ticking off every fan base each week. Last week was the Pies. This week's Eagles. We both thought they were going to win, and for them to put out a performance like that proves us as experts as completely non-expertal.
I know. I say all these things like I'm a real good analyst, but I picked the Eagles to win this week. So I can't really say too much. But I didn't think they were going to be as bad as they were. some of their veterans were really bad. Like, I think Hearn was pretty good, and Hearn and Shuey and Ryan were good. And then Andrew Gaff and Dom Sheed and Jack Darling, guys that you like, were key staples of that premiership side. They were poor. Like, Dom Sheed got a lot of the ball, but he did nothing with it. Like, they really needed to step up. And like Liam Ryan and Shuey like dragged them back into that game. And Gaff and Sheed did everything they could to not keep him in it. Like, it was weird. It was really weird to watch.
Yeah, Dom Sheed's career's gone downhill ever since he sunk the Pies in the grand final.
He never even had a career before that. Dom Sheed was like a nobody, and then he won the grand final for West Coast, and then lived off that for like a year, and now he's bad again. I know he was injured last year, I get that. But he's back to just like Dom Sheed is Dom Sheed again. Like, it's whatever.
Dom Sheed is going to be an obscure answer to a question.
But not like dramatically obscure, but it'll be like, because the replay of his goal will always play. Like, it'll be there all the time.
Maybe,
but it'll be obscure to the point where it's like, it'll be obscure to the point where he's like the best player. He's the worst player to win a grand final side. Like,
he's the best worst player to win a granny.
The best worst player to win a granny. Absolutely.
All right. Well, West Coast and North probably got off to the start we didn't expect, but North will have. I think they've got Freo next week over there, and the Eagles are at home against the Giants. So actually, games I probably won't watch. Let's be absolutely honest. And it's in WA. They're dreadful over there.
West Coast Giants is going to be funny.
That's a Sunday twilight too. That is not getting a run.
No. TV might be off for that one. Just there we go.
Righto. All right, the next game. Right, step aside, mate. All right,
yeah, take it away. You know what? I'm actually going to leave. I'm actually going to leave. I need to fill up my drink.
Yeah. Do you want to get me a cup of tea, a couple of sugars? When you come back,
we'll be here for a while.
As well. Yeah, I don't know if you checked out the review on ThePear, but I've got some notes. So it was about 4:05 on Saturday. Saturday, the 18th of March. It was Port Adelaide versus Brisbane at the Adelaide Oval in front of 34,000 something, 34,220 odd, which is not bad for a crowd in 30-degree heat. I didn't get to attend. I'm not done, by the way. There's plenty of notes here. And it got off to a great... No, I'm not going to do that. That'll be here for ages. Port Adelaide got the job done, 54 points to the result that shocked not only people in the AFL community, but also Port fans. We're generally sitting at the game, staring into the burning sunlight, thinking, what are we witnessing? I didn't get to attend, which sucked because of a footy trial match, but sitting at the pub in Wallaroo, watching my team absolutely demolish a premiership favourite is nothing more than a sweet, glorious feeling to carry through for the rest of the weekend.
Shocking. That was a result where I was like confused because I was getting the train home from North West Coast, and then I got home, and like when I was watching it on the train, Brisbane were up, and then I went home, stuffed around for a little bit, looked at the TV. Port had kicked like 6 unanswered, and they were just flying. And I was like, what happened? Like, so I missed it. And I tweeted out, I was like, what actually happened? I don't know. From what I can gather, Brisbane's midfield got slaughtered. And Jason Horne-Francis is pretty good.
Let me tell you something, JT. Let me tell you something. They want to sack Ken. Remember I was talking last week about the contract extension?
Of course.
Probably still shouldn't get it, but for him to make the change at halftime to put Rosie, Butters, and Horne-Francis in the middle against Dunkley, Neil, McGluggage, Ashcroft was rolling through there. Mastermind. Absolutely beautiful.
Crazy.
I think it was a beautiful joy to watch, mate. It really, really was.
I wish I watched more of it because that would have been a sight. To see a
watch party
like that. Let's just do it right now. The rest of the podcast.
Watch our games back to back.
Absolutely. Great game. I love that Jason Horne-Francis is good. I think he's going to be really good. And I love that he's proven it.
Yeah, no, he's good. Like he was fantastic. He's a little teaser for a little segment afterwards. But he was very good. Our backline was very good. Todd Marshall may be the best up and coming forward in the comp.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
we did on bold predictions last week.
They're rolling through this week, brother.
Yeah, right. Okay. What are you classifying? What are you classifying as up and coming? Like age?
Look, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Just wanted the quote.
I just wanted someone to clip it and be like, he was right. But
Yeah.
4 goals, very good. Actually, he's probably one of the best kicks in the AFL in terms of goal kicking.
Yep.
He kicked like 45-15 last year. He's 4 goals, 1 yesterday. A lot better than Dixon. But Dixon still had 3-3. And just overall, our forward line looked good. Horatio, Junior Rioli at another club, looking fantastic.
Mark.
So, well, was it?
What a mark.
It was more of a what a ma and then no arc because there's literally
They didn't carry through.
Complete it.
Did
But
not
then
carry
for him
through.
to get he got paid it and then literally has sold the biggest candy store to whoever's on the mark. He paid full price for it and slotted it.
Beautiful.
I've watched that highlight so many times. Anyway, Port got the job done. Lions probably questionable, and I love Gary Lyon saying, I think it was about halfway through the last quarter, he was like, the Lions have genuinely been embarrassed.
Yeah, so that's the best way to put it. It is the best way to put it.
I think I don't know about you, but I'm not concerned about the Lions.
I'm not concerned because I know like the likes of Ashcroft is going to build into his game. Like Ashcroft was good, but I know he's going to build into being even better. I know that Neil's going to obviously be good, and like Josh Dunkley will be fine. So I'm not worried about them. But that is like that's a bad omen to start the year because you shouldn't like playing Port at Adelaide Oval is no easy feat. That's understandable. But to be like embarrassed the way that they were, that's tough to do. Like that's poor. So it'll be interesting. That's a really interesting story coming into the next few weeks because Brisbane have a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah, as I said, Port play the Pies at the G, and then the big Friday night game is in fact Brisbane versus Melbourne at the Gabba.
That's a test. That is the litmus test at the Gabba versus the team that we'll get into in literally the next match. If they don't have to win, but if they don't put up a really good fight, then you'd start to be worried about Brisbane.
Oh, God forbid. If we've derailed their season in round 1, payback's a bitch for last year. Rizzy broke our season round 1 last year. We'll pay the favour. Go 0-5. Couldn't give a shit. Went upon a nil, baby. Speaking of the D's, as you said, the next game, it was Melbourne versus the Western Bulldogs, and probably a game at the stage of the night where I was looking at it going, probably seeing 3 different TVs. That's right. 50-point win at the G. What were your thoughts on that?
We can keep this one brief because I know we've spoken about the other ones. I have 3 points about Melbourne Bulldogs. Right. Melbourne good. Melbourne good. Bulldogs bad. Gordon Grundy are going to dominate. Is my that's plenty to say about it. I don't need to elaborate because that's how it is. Melbourne good, Bulldogs bad, Gordon Grundy good.
That game review proudly brought to you by Captain Obvious. The most obvious of things said and stated by Jared Thomas.
What else you got to say, man? Bulldogs suck.
No.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That backline, that Western Bulldogs backline is so atrociously bad. The Bulldogs sucks too. Why are we broken on the Bulldogs? It's all well and good to have one of the best midfielders in the world. You can have your Bontempellis, you can have your Bailey Smiths, you can have your Tom Liberatores. But when you've got genuinely sweet fuck all, and they just you're not getting anywhere.
Why? Why have we broken on the Bulldogs of all teams that could cop it this weekend? Sweet fuck all.
And like, I know Melbourne's good, I get that. But Bulldogs look so bad.
Oh, that's made me cry. That's great roundup. The
Next
dogs.
game.
The dogs are atrocious. The next game. Speaking of atrocious. The Gold Coast versus the Swans at fucking HBS Stadium or whatever it's called. Gold Coast rocked up at halftime. They lost the game 110 to 61, 49 points. Buddy Franklin still got it. I think that's the one thing I took away from it. And then he got suspended as well.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch a lot of this one. I watched. Oh, something's playing. I watched a little bit. I watched the start when Buddy, was really good. There is nothing I can say about this game. I have no thoughts or opinions. I have nothing.
I've got two. Two. You had the other one. I got this one. So I got two. One, you suck at tipping. This was supposed to be your upset game.
I'm so bad.
We'll get to that a little later. But you tipped the Gold Coast an upset. My friend, no. Secondly, remember last week I was talking about how there's always that Saturday night Fox footy game that sucks?
This is the definition of that.
Yes.
It's like every single time there is like the two Saturday games on. The free-to-air one will always be the more interesting of the two, even if it wasn't a good one. But the other one will be the most dead rubber match ever. Like, it'll just be a nothing match, even in round one. Like, weird.
That's genuinely funny. The fact that, I mean, actually, Took Miller played round one. That wasn't supposed to happen. Every injury, right, that was being announced during preseason, they were supposed to miss round one. They played round one. Tom Hawkins played round one. Yeah. Took Miller played round one. Horatio Fantasia played round one. Countless amount of others. They've been named and they played.
Yep.
Stuff your fucking stupid injury concerns posts and let me see what happens round one. Like,
whoever plays round one is obviously fit. Like, let's just
thanks, Dan.
Like, let's leave it at that. Obviously, they're fine. It's whatever. It's
okay.
A nothing
that's
a
game
nothing
can get stuff. I don't care about that. Oh, this one's good. This one was very good. I love this one, and I watched it all, every single minute.
No, you're wrong. This is not a good game. The result is great for you. Bad for our tipping. It's great for you. But it's not a good game.
Tipping was shocking. I watched this whole thing, and genuinely I thought I was watching my footy club page and my stream was on. It was Div 6. The goal kicking from Adelaide was atrocious. Adelaide's ability to move the ball until they got to the forward half was good. GWS sucked until Toby Green got the ball. And the Crows are unfit.
Yeah.
Genuinely unfit.
Yeah. This game is weird because people have now, like, I've seen in the time since been like, GWS are all right, you know. Adam Kingsley's bringing a good vibe to the GWS Giants. GWS were bad in this game. They weren't good. Like, they've won and they had a big comeback. You know, they kicked 6 goals in the third quarter. But they weren't good. Like, I understand they might be better than some people think. But I don't think in any plane they're going to be a good side.
All right. So if that's the case, what does this result reflect worse for them? The fact that GWS are going to get pumped up a little bit more, or the fact that Adelaide genuinely have lost the plot?
Adelaide is interesting, but I think, again, It's like the opposite way. People need to not just completely demolish Adelaide's season because of this, because I still think they're going to be fine. They kicked really bad. Like their goal kicking, especially like early on, they could have smashed out that game and put it beyond doubt really early. But Rankin, who was good, but he kicked so many points. Like if they'd have kicked them all early, GWS weren't even going to have a look in. It's the fact that they had enough of a look in at the start. So I don't think Adelaide are going to be bad. They're going to be better than GWS in the long run. But like, come on, what is going on there?
I just, things aren't going right when the Fog is lining up for a goal 35 out, watch directly in front, and shanks it right. That was genuinely the point where I was just like, well, the Crows are losing, and I'm very happy.
And GWS did not have a bench by the end of that game, and they still managed to hold on and get better and were better than Adelaide late on. Like, so weird. A weird game.
Before we move on to the next one, did you see the bump?
Let's talk about all the bumps this weekend. So there's three
bump segment.
There's three main ones.
Mm-hmm.
Hossie's is atrocious.
Oh,
why on earth would you leave the ground? You literally will not gain anything ever except for a suspension. Buddy fucking loves those, doesn't he? Buddy loves the little elbow out, head high hit. That was bad too. But the he didn't leave the ground. He was kind of just giving him a little one, whatever. And then the last one, again, same as Cozzy. Why are you leaving the ground? Like, why?
What about me? I don't know.
It's stupid. It is stupidity. I don't get it.
Who did it? Do we even know the Crows players?
McAdam. McAdam did it. Yeah.
Yeah, McAdam. Definitely McAdam. But he definitely McAdam got an extension now. Jesus Christ.
The bump, like people crack it and be like, the bump's dead. It's not fucking bump. It's a missile. You're launching yourself at a guy's head. Like, if you wanted to, if McAdam or Cozzy wanted to, if you get low and hit him here, you don't get any free kick against you or anything like that.
No.
And you'll probably hurt him, which is what it looks like you're trying to do. So why would you leave the ground? Like, man, I have no idea.
Or tackle. Yeah. Hello.
Or just
you got arms. Wrap around the bastard.
You might get a free kick for it. You don't get a free kick if you bump someone off the ball.
No. Speaking of, Darcy Byrne-Jones has literally missed Ashcroft by 3 meters.
That is a funny clip to watch. And that was before Brisbane had turned bad.
I was really hoping someone clipped that up and put him into the Shooting Stars meme because genuinely
he was gone.
I might do that. Screen. By the way, if he connected, Ashcroft is probably dead.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Actually shows Ashcroft's class in being able to just be like, fuck off, Darcy. No.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? Darcy Byrne-Jones hasn't hit a target in 2 years, and clearly that shows that.
Oh, God. All right.
Lord. But yeah, some weird bumps. Interesting. Did you see Mitch Robinson as well tweeted out the McAdam clip and goes, footy's dead. As in, was supposed to be, should be allowed. That should be allowed.
Is Mitch Robinson fucked in the head?
I think he took a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah. But
seriously, he tweeted out, and if you looked at the responses that he's got, shocking.
There is no way. That's not bumping. That's just literally aiming somebody's head. Anyway. To the MCG we go.
Well, I didn't watch this game. I looked at the scores purely for fantasy.
I also didn't watch this game because I was preparing for what's to come, which we'll get to.
Yeah, your turn's coming. Don't worry. Let me just finish. All right. You know what? Let me do Essendon Hawthorn quickly. Okay. I'll just run it down. 10 seconds. Okay. Essendon, very good. Davey, very good. Tipper, sensational. Wholesome moment. We'll get to probably that a little bit later, maybe. I don't know, depending if we've got time after your Saints rant. Hawthorn atrocious in the second half. Wingard's goal was very good. Wingard didn't touch the ball pretty much after that, went missing, typical. And Essendon overall weren't too bad. Looking forward to see what they can bring under Brad Scott. Hawthorn, on the other hand, very young. They've got a lot of upside, probably missing a couple of key players. And yeah, Mason Redman is probably very close to being a super sexy AFL player.
Braxton Redmond is interesting. He's progressing very, very well. He had a very good year. Yeah, the game, like I said, I didn't watch most of it. I watched like tiny bits here and there. But just basing off what I've heard, Hawthorn are about as I was expecting this year. I don't think they're going to be very good. Essendon look pretty good. I think Setterfield is going to be really
yeah.
good. I've said before that Setterfield is a really good pickup for them, and he's proving it because he looks really good. So good on him.
And Zach Merritt can shake a tag because he had about 25 fantasy at halftime, ended up with 107. So
Easy.
that's the things I learned from that game. And overall, 59 points. It moved into the next game, JT, which was Fremantle versus St Kilda in a game that I'd like to call the Ross Lyon Cup / the Hangover Time Slot Cup. This is all yours, mate. I'll just go have a cup of coffee or anything. St Kilda by 15. Take it away, champ.
I loved this so much. I'm just very proud because we had to do a lot to win this game. We did not have a forward line. We don't have a forward line right now. Mason Wood was our best forward today, which is astonishing. But I'm really proud of the way that we didn't just drop our heads. First off, I sound like a biased Saints fan, but I had non-Saints fans with me. The umpiring was atrocious. Like, so bad. It's like, it was so hard to watch. But anyway, the fact that we didn't let it get to us too bad, we conceded a couple goals because of it, didn't let it get to us too bad, and then we fought back, and then that last quarter, we just ran over them pretty much. It's proof that, with any sort of belief, like that is, we can do whatever we actually want to do. And then you put in Max King and you put Tim Embry back into that forward line, we win that game by the third quarter. Like, we won it. It was like 15 points. You put Max King, you put Tim Embry in there. We would have blown them out of the water. And people would be like, oh my God, like Saints are really good. But like, because we didn't have those two, it doesn't look as good. The fact that we kicked, how many goals did we kick? We kicked 10 goals without a recognised forward. It's so good. And I said before the game, I said, I just don't want to leak goals. I was like, if we can, I'm so happy with the low scoring affair. I was like, I know we won't kick many goals, but as long as we don't concede very many, I'm happy because our backline is completely solid. There's not a single injury or anything like that. So I said, as long as we don't leak goals, I'm happy. And they only kicked 7 goals for the game. Also, Fremantle made a massive mistake getting rid of Rory Lobb.
Yeah, they did.
Their forward line is bad. It's a bad forward line. And like their back line were just kicking it around. That's why Brendan Cox had, how many marks do you have? 20 marks. Because they literally, like Brendan Cox, Ryan, and Hayden Young, so 20, 13, 13. Because they just chipped it around the back constantly. And it's like, that's fine to do that. But the reason they were doing it is because they had no avenue to go. Like, they don't have anybody. It was weird.
It literally was Ross Lyon coaching against Ross Lyon pre-2016.
If you didn't know any better, if you walked into this game completely blind, let's say you walk into this game, you know that Ross Lyon is a coach of one of the teams, but you don't know which team, you would think it was Fremantle.
Yeah, no.
Because they were just defensive and just chipping it around and not getting any sort of avenue towards goal. Like Ross was good in that he can defend a lot and then he knows when to get your players to move forward. Freo had a lot of trouble like doing that today. And we looked okay. a lot of our players weren't amazing. Our young guys were pretty good. I don't really think we had any like standouts apart from one that I'm going to get into later. Yeah, a little preview. But
the thing is, it's one of those results that you probably could expect in round one. the type of thing that the Saints get a win.
Yep.
The fans are happy. Like it's just a tremendous result considering what you've been through in the off season and what you had to conjure over to. Like Freo at stages could have very much broken this game open today.
Oh, without question.
And now you're sitting here 15-point winners against a team that was probably classed as a top 5 or 6 team coming into this year.
Yeah, I had them really high. Yeah.
And it just goes to show that we can't predict shit.
We're bad at it. But like, yeah, I don't know. We're okay. We're not as bad as people say we are. And I always said that when I was bad as people say we are. But it's why I tipped us, because I knew in my heart of hearts that we were going to win this game, because we're usually pretty good at the start of the year. Freo usually aren't. They're not a good traveling team, and we play pretty well at Marvel. Even though we didn't have a forward line, I was like, they don't really either. Not by injuries. Not by injuries. They just don't have one. Yeah. No. So I think, some of their players they brought in just weren't very good. There was so many massive disposals from their backmen because, again, they just kicked it around. But, like, they didn't play well, really. Like, Hayden Young was really good. Hayden Young was unbelievable. But, like, the other guys were okay. It's just they didn't look very good. And we looked slightly better.
We looked a little bit better than atrocious.
I don't know. It was interesting. Few good players out there, but I'm happy.
It's a win. And we're sitting together on the ladder. How cute's that? Like,
I know. How was that screenshot? Oh, beautiful.
It's like it's meant to be.
It was.
Just
awesome.
But it's just these moments that you're taking. It's like, that's
nice. That's
double.
Nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, no, it was good. Like, we've had double wins. As you said, you had the feeling during the week. I think we had that fan feeling. It's just like both our teams are going to win this week. It's just that something in the
second nature.
Stars.
It's a second nature. I'm like, I know. I just know when we get these games.
Yeah, look, that's why I'm confident for next week. Like, it's just this is belief. Probably going to get shut down horribly, but that's okay. I'm prepared for that. But I think, it's good. Like, as I said, it probably was in the stars that we were going to win both our teams alongside the stars as Darcy Burn-Jones flying, still trying to hit Ashcroft. Good to see it now. But yeah, like as I said, the ladder's out. Essendon going to sit in top, but the Hawks are bottom, and we go into next week. We shall talk about the Twitter sphere, which is what people had to say. I don't know if you got it up, but I do. So I'm more than happy to take this if you'd like me.
I'll just look through and see if there's any that are interesting.
Oh, we can go one apiece. How's that sound?
Sure.
All right. We'll go around the glass table. That's what we should call this segment.
There we go. That's good, actually.
Whoa. All right. Starting from the top, we've got Lucky Dan here. Collingwood are hungry and very good. That's what he took away from round 1.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what we said.
Wow. And he wants to be... Anyway, all good. Next one.
I'm going to try and find one that's good here. This is one that I was saying before that I don't necessarily think is true, but it's from Jack Dobson. Adam Kingsley was a great appointment for GWS. I think he's good at appointment, but I think we need to just calm down a little bit on the Giants being good because I don't think they're going to be very good. I don't think they're very good.
Tell me again.
Like, I'm sure he'll be fine for them, but they weren't very good. So, yeah. Anyway.
No. Going through it, the Bloods culture. The Swans aren't going anywhere. We're very much contenders still. I don't think anyone really wrote them off.
But people were worried because they thought they were going to sort of panic. I never said that. I said they were going to be very good. But yeah,
I thought they'd still be there. I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
I don't dislike Sydney.
No. What do we got? I'm going to go. Yeah, this is a good one actually. So Brandon, our boy Brandon, gets a mention for the 3rd week in a row. Carlton defending well and still not winning makes me sadder than he was. This is interesting because they actually did defend really well. In terms of their key defenders, anyway. Mitch McGovern will talk about Mitch McGovern. We don't need to talk about Mitch McGovern. We can ignore Mitch McGovern. But their key defenders,
talk about that, man.
Their key defenders in Lewis Young and Jacob Wiedering were good. Lewis Young was arguably the best player on the ground.
Yep.
I would
I'll cop
say,
that.
from my
Well, you were there.
viewpoint, he was one of the best players on the ground. And Jacob Wiedering was good, so they were good. The back line, but the fact that they couldn't put it together through the middle and in the forward line is tough. But I think Carlton's going to be fine. I just think it was round one, and they just have to sort themselves out. Once they get Sam Walsh back, they'll be fine.
Yeah, he's a big loss, and I think they probably got hurt in the midfield a little bit. And obviously, when you're going up against Taranto, Hopper, Dusty, countless other names, Presio, who was very good, you're gonna have your work cut out. Speaking of midfield, my man, JJ, he's coming. Port's future midfield is going to be in good hands with Hornet, Rosie, and Butters. Reiterates my point before. Ken Hinkley's mastermind stroke to put those three in together. I'll keep mentioning it.
There's a lot of Port Adelaide on the same ones.
Well, I tweeted I
wonder why. I wonder why.
I am ThePear. Did you know that? You know what this was presented by? Come on. That's what the contractual agreement was. Cupcake.
Jaspers is good. He wants to play the Hawks every week. So would I. That'd be nice.
Ditto. Actually, no, we'd lose. We'd
lose a couple, but if we played them 23 rounds in a row, I think we'd win 19.
Do you reckon if you played a team once every week, if you played a team every week for a whole year, do you reckon they'd actually figure out how to beat you in the end?
Yeah, I reckon if you looked at it, if you broke it down into like the halves of the year, or like you broke it down into like sections, they would definitely win more games towards the end of the year than they would at the start, because they'd be like, all right, they're going to go through this player, just go out there and just break him, and then we'll be fine.
That's a real AFL 23 challenge when it comes out. Just play a same
team one team
over
every single time.
And over. You'd go mental.
You would.
Imagine you could get a matchup right.
Oh, God.
I'd throw tantrums. Speaking of tantrums, Carlton supporters. Story from the besties. Carlton need to get their shit together ASAP. Ellie follows it up with this, but for the dogs. I concur.
Yes. Bulldogs especially, as we heard of my rant before.
They're atrocious.
If you skip to now, go back. Go back for Dogs Melbourne. You have to listen to any of the other parts.
I learned 3 things. Melbourne good. Dogs bad. Oh shit.
The last one. Let's see. Let's just go with like a sort of a blanket one. Preseason form should be ignored heading into round one. This is from Jamie Oliver.
Yes. Yeah. Jamie Oliver. He cooked up a storm.
Finish with this one as a blanket one, because as we've seen, preseason form it means a little bit, sure, but not a lot. Essendon didn't look good in preseason, but they dominated today. West Coast looked pretty good against you guys, and then they looked terrible against North Melbourne. So, don't constantly read into preseason. You can read into player form, I reckon. Player-wise, if they're playing pretty good, you can be like, they're going to be pretty good. But in terms of the actual team as a whole, do not pay anywhere near as much attention as you do now, because it won't be like that.
I think we were sandbagging.
Yeah, I reckon you just went out there and said, we're not fucking doing anything in the first game.
No. Quite literally have gone through 2 games in WA. We don't want to be here. And I can understand why it's in WA. Quite literally, played nothing. We did absolutely nothing. And we've come out and beaten potential flag favourite by 54 points. By the way, did you know that Port won by 54 points?
Actually touched on how much you won by. You won by a shitload. So much.
54. That's 9 goals.
Big number.
Count it with me, JT. Count it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to stop? 5, 6. 7, 8, and number 9, Robbie Gray. Goals.
Yeah, well done.
Okay.
Well done,
Speaking of Robbie Gray and beautiful, sexy people, it's
time for everyone's favourite segment.
It's time for everyone's favourite segment. Play the damn music.
Stupid, sexy AFL players.
All right, it's time for stupid, sexy AFL players, and I think we've got a couple. And I'm so glad footy's back because now I can actually look at players without actually researching them and seeing what they look like. And I look like a weirdo.
Oh, dear.
Jay, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I do. This is quite
Don't be
possibly,
keen.
this is possibly the biggest change of heart I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh no.
I just want to send an apology out to Mason Wood.
Oh no.
Because in
What
the first episode of the Glass Table, I lambasted him because he ran down the clock that time when he played for North.
Nah.
And I was like, fuck you, Mason. But I tell you what, not only for his performance today, 20-2, spectacular. He's a good-looking man. Mason Wood, you are a stupid, sexy AFL player. And I'm very glad that you're on my team because for some reason, you're really good. Me? You are.
Pre-season form does mean thing. Hang on, that's not English. Pre-season form does mean something for players. Mason Wood.
Mason Wood carried it over. He carried it over. Good on him.
Carried his looks over. Carried his form over. JT's got a new crush. Did you buy some Mason Wood posters?
What a bad.
Gave you some wood, did it? Mason.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad Mason Wood made you happy, mate. Like I'm really happy for you that Mason Wood gave you some wood. But there's one particular man that wears his socks up. It's not often you see socks up in the AFL anymore, unless they're 200 centimeters and they're big Gumby ruckman playing in the VFL. Jason Horne-Francis, one of the best hyphen names in the history of AFL football. Played arguably the best, not the best, second season game ever. He played the best third quarter by an individual on the weekend. He was superb. 11 disposals at 91% efficiency, delivering to forwards like Charlie Dixon and Todd Marshall like he was a waiter with a plate. Just eat this, Charlie. You'll feel better. Like it was to die for. He's got the mullet. He looks like a 1990s Nathan Buckley. It's been mentioned a lot of times. He's going to look great in the prison bars when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it in the promotions. But Jason Horne-Francis, I love you so much. You are a stupid, sexy AFL. In fact, you don't even deserve the stupid. You just deserve sexy AFL player. And by God, pick up any ground ball you want because I'll be watching you.
My God.
Yeah. Do we take this segment too seriously?
This is the one thing that I prepare for every week. I've prepared no notes for anything else, but I always make sure that I have my stupid, sexy AFL player by the time we start rolling.
Can I just point out, I'll show you my notes. It's not really a run sheet. It's just talk about the Saints, talk about the pair. Round one, Horne-Francis. And then the tips. Oh, God, that's funny. I'm glad that we prepared so much more to the actually launching this thing. And then once we started, we've done good content.
Enough. Enough.
Before we go into a tips, do you want to do your new segment that we're doing this year?
Yes.
The Coaches Award.
So, Coaches Award comes about because I've won a record amount of coaches. It's ridiculous. I am that player that did slim to none, but the coach seemed to love me. I was tagging someone or something like that. Anyway, Coaches Award is going to go to the player every week that did stuff that won't get recognized. He won't really get spoken about, but he was exactly what you needed him to be done. What you needed to be done on the day is what happened. I'm going to go to the game, one of the games that I went to. I'm going to North versus West Coast.
Oh,
and I'm gonna get the trophy.
Oh no, the trophy's coming out. For those listening at home,
trophy.
JT's
I'm gonna
grabbed one of
present
his 17 trophies.
I'm gonna present the first Coaches Award that I ever earned, which is the Under 9 Colts. Represent the Fitz coaches award. Oh man. I'm going to present the first coaches award of the season to a man by the name of Charlie Comben. Now, Charlie Comben has an interesting story because, as we know, Todd Goldstein didn't get picked by North Melbourne, which meant Tristan Jerry was running in as the only recognised ruckman on the list. And then he did his ankle in the first 4 minutes of the game, like straight away. Tristan Jerry goes out. I mean, Charlie Comben is the only other one that sort of has a little bit of rucking experience. He goes in there. Now, I'm not saying he did great because he didn't really in the ruck per se. But Charlie Comben only got 1 goal on the weekend, and he deserved plenty more. He just seemed to be everywhere. Like, he just seemed to be taking a lot of marks, and not that he like would run through players. He was doing the perfect big centre half forward role. Ball comes in, doesn't have to mark it. He was running through whoever was standing underneath it. Like, he did what he had to do. And he was a main factor as to why Lark ended up kicking 6, because Comben was dangerous up forward and didn't really get a lot on the stat sheet himself, but did everything he needed to do. So Charlie Comben, North Melbourne, Coaches Award. Well done.
That's an amazing first Coaches Award.
Just such a nobody.
I genuinely didn't even know that bloke was on the list. Like,
such a good nobody.
That is extraordinary. I'm going to be looking for a picture to put up while you talk about him. There's not going to be any results. I mean, fair play. That's very well done. Well done. It's big Charlie. I thought you were going to go with Dixon. I got very excited, but then you didn't. No, I didn't get excited. But hey, very nice debut for the Coaches Award. I think that's very, very funny. All right, let's go into the tips now. I don't know if you know this, but we sucked.
So bad.
Genuinely, it was terrible. I don't know if you have the results in front of you, but looking at it there, I think it was very close. We'll run it through very quickly. Tigers, Blues, obviously, we split that. I went the Tigers, he went the Blues. 1-0. Cats.
Draw. Draw.
Let me reframe that.
0.5 each.
Yeah. All right. Tigers, Blues, 0.5 each. Good start. Half a tip. Cats, lost. Both went the Cats. Both went the Eagles, lost. First actual tip that got right on the weekend was me with Port, which I don't blame you for tipping Brisbane. But the heart wants what it wants. Both went the Demons. That was your first tip, correct. The Swans, you went the Suns.
I regret that so bad.
You went the Suns. I got the Swans. Both went the Crows. That sucked. Both went the Hawks. That sucked. And then you got the Saints right. I tipped Freo, which gave you a grand total of 2.
2.5. Let's go. Yes.
2.5. One of the worst first rounds of tipping I think I've ever seen.
Nah, I reckon I got 1 last year. I reckon I was worse. I always suck round 1. I'm always so bad round 1.
Nah, that was terrible. Like, genuinely, I think we got freak like with ones we got correct. Luckily we got both our teams right, so that's pretty good. We did say we're going to do a challenge. Now it's not going to be a challenge every week. It's going to be. I think we both agreed on. It's going to be a rolling tally of whoever wins the most rounds at the end of the year. The tally will be if whoever's ahead, the loser has to buy the difference in beers.
Yeah.
The question thing on that is that if we're both 11-11, then hang on.
So it's like 23. 23?
The 24 rounds?
24
23.
Rounds.
Yeah, okay. So I could be 12-12, which means then we just have to come back to I don't know. We didn't even think that through, but it's gonna be that, and
Count back.
at this rate, it probably will be that we end up buying the same amount of vodka fees anyway. So that brings us to round 2.
Yes.
Carlton v Geelong.
Yes.
Who are you tipping?
I think I'm going to be there, which is good. I am going to. Yeah, I actually should have thought about this. There'll be no Tom Stewart. The coning might not be there. I'm going to tip the Blues.
Did I?
Yep. Okay.
Both going the Blues.
That makes me feel better about myself. Because
oh yeah, because me getting an extra tip is really going to make people shaking their boots. Shake a stick at it, JT. Get the tips right. The next one, Melbourne versus Brisbane at the Gabba.
Melbourne.
Yeah, I tipped the D's too.
Yeah. If I was doing these tips before last week, I would have tipped Brisbane, but because of the last game, I'm going to go with Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm tipping these two. Oh, it's going to be a very good first 2 nights.
Yeah.
Because there's no point to it at all. Because if we both get them right, hooray. If we get them wrong, shit. Saturday, Arvo, the game that we will all be. Pies v Port at the G. Who are you tipping?
I am sorry, but Collingwood looked really good, and I know Port looked really good. I know, no.
What? You didn't even watch Port.
No, but I know that like Port looked good as well. Okay. I know that. I just think Collingwood are going to win.
I'm glad you suck at tipping because I'm tipping Port. So, so there's the first difference.
Yeah,
which is good. I'm happy with that because I can't wait to rub it in everyone's face at the ground on Saturday we win after Boat kicks 5 after returning from an injury. The next one at the Adelaide Oval, Crows versus Tigers. I think we're both going to go with the same team, maybe.
It's closer than you'd think, but I'm going to go Richmond. Adelaide will look bad, sure, but because it's Adelaide Oval, it's like maybe, but no, I'm going to go Richmond. I think Hopper's going to have a better game because he was kind of poor in the first. He was poor for most of Thursday night game, so I think he'll have an improved one. I think they're going to win, Richmond.
Yeah, Hopper did really hop in and out of that game, so I really do feel like, yeah, I think the Tigers just. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think Adelaide Oval will be rocking. It's supposed to be good weather too, so I think the Crows will give up a fight, but the Tigers. We move into primetime Saturday night football at Marvel.
Oh,
the Dogs versus the Saints. I know who you're going to tip. Because the Dogs, you said it in your own words, are shit. Oh, no. Do not turn. No, do not.
I'm tipping the Western Bulldogs.
For God's sake.
Because.
Why?
There's a few reasons. There's a few reasons. One, the Dogs last year smoked us. Killed us last year.
That's true.
They're going to be out to be a lot better. They're gonna really, 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 really go hard. And because I've just chatted absolute garbage about Western Bulldogs for at least 15 minutes, I know that they're going to beat us. So I'm going to tip the Western Bulldogs. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it.
Okay. I'm tipping the Saints. I genuinely think the momentum of a round 1 win going into Marvel next week, I think the Dogs are terrible. Like, I genuinely think they're worse.
I think they're worse than us. I do think they're worse than us. Absolutely. But I think they're going to beat us on Saturday.
I just that's negative behavior, JT. Negative. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I can't believe that I've tipped your team, but you haven't tipped my team. We're supposed to be doing this. Piss off. Anyway, next game, which is one of those Saturday night games.
This is it. Here it is. I was just about to say, this is Saturday night Fox footy areas. Fremantle are going to win this by about 50. That is what happens on Saturday night Fox Footy games. It'll be boring as batshit, and Freo will just constantly just pile up a little bit and a little bit and a little bit more.
I can't believe it. They've generally targeted audience with 0 this game.
Yeah.
At Optus Stadium, you've got North travelling over against the Dockers. No one is watching that, but we're both tipping Freo.
Yep.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Sunday, Sydney versus Hawthorn, the hangover time slot at the SCG. They don't ever get Sunday early.
No, they don't.
At the SCG.
It's not an SCG time slot at all.
The odds $1.10 to 7.
Oh.
So the Swans. It's just the one, actually.
Sounds good. Swans are winning this. I don't think we need to say anything about this. The Swans are winning this.
No, this is one of those where you just tip and forget.
Yep.
Speaking of tipping and forgetting, Essendon Gold Coast.
No, see, I don't know.
It's at Marvel.
Yeah, that's what's making me go, I think Essendon's going to win.
Oh, generally, yeah, I'm tipping Essendon.
Yeah, I'm tipping Essendon. Like I am going to tip Essendon, but like I almost would have picked Gold Coast if it was like earlier. Like if I'd have done it before round 1, because I trust Gold Coast and I trusted Gold Coast, but they looked really bad against Sydney. So I'm going to say Essendon.
But it's one of those ones that Gold Coast would just remember the game against Freo. Was it Freo?
Yeah.
No, it was the Bombers last year.
Didn't they lose it though?
No, they literally ran over the top of them.
Oh yeah, it might have been. It was the game that Draper kicked that goal of the year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Essendon ran over the top of the Suns. Who was the Gold Coast beat that I was really impressed with? It was something earlier in the year. It was at Marvel. Could have been the Dogs or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm tipping Essendon at Marvel. They're up and about, and Essendon 2-0 could be very interesting.
Yep, for sure.
Last one, which is the hangover time slot again. West Coast
It's not even the hangover time slot because it's at 6:20 for me. Like that's bedtime time slot for me.
Why? Yeah, 1 is at bedtime, and 2, why the hell is it at Optus when Freo? Oh, they both played away. Never mind.
Yep.
Eagles, Giants. Who are you tipping?
Tipping the Eagles. I think the fact that it's at Optus is going to get him over the line. I don't know if Nick Nat's coming back yet. Maybe he's injured for longer.
He's 1 or 2 more.
Anyway, I just think the Eagles are going to do it. They looked bad and they were awful, but the Giants were very good either. And the Eagles can do a little bit here and there. So I think the Eagles are going to win. And I'm going to tip them almost purely because it's at Optus. I think is what's going to get them over the line.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I think that there's not a lot that separate us. The only difference is Port Pies, St Kilda Dogs. It's our game.
Our games are what separate us. There you go.
If I get both of those right, let me tell you something. You are going to hear about it.
I'm aware.
Okay, there is going to be this in your ear, and we're in person, so it's a lot worse for you. JT, need a refill, just like your tips. Anyway, that's our tips. Let us know in the comments what you thought. This is episode 3. I think we're pretty much done here.
Yeah, this is a long one. I mean, I like talking about footy, so this is good. This is good stuff.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I think the best part is that we actually had footy to talk about.
Beautiful. It's back.
It's back. Footy's back. We both won.
We won. Astonishing.
I'm going to go watch the replay again.
So much.
Well, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you follow the socials, subscribe to ThePear. Over 5,000 subscribers. Follow JT. He's got a new Twitter account because he got hacked by KSR or some Justice for his song.
Jose Soria Jr. If you're listening to this, you won't be. But why'd you hack my Twitter?
Long.
He kept all my tweets there.
Well, man, he must be enjoying your tweets. Not anymore because you're not sending any. But
whatever. It's fine.
Anyway, we'll see you next time.
Yes, enjoy.